Well, good morning, friends at ACSI from the Alamo City here in San Antonio. We send greetings from the Christian school at Castle Hills and all the school family here. We're grateful for all that you do, and we want to thank you for the invitation to bring this brief devotion where we've been asked to just tell our school's story. So we're going to jump right in this morning and talk about this simple theme, life's valleys. Really, life's valleys, the best thing that could happen to you and I. Normally we don't think of valleys in that way, but the sons of Korah in Psalm 84 were going on a great pilgrimage from their homelands up to Jerusalem, and the sons of Korah, when they inspired to write this passage, they made this statement, passing through the valley of Baca, they make it a spring. You know, that simple little phrase out of that passage in Psalms has been instrumental in us dealing with our own valleys. We all go through valleys. You do individually, and all of us do institutionally with the businesses or the organizations or nonprofits, churches, or Christian schools that we run. What this message is about is learning to love your valley and then learning while you're in the valley. And so valleys are where three things happen. You get perspective, you gain priorities. When God's in it, you get perspective, you gain priorities, and your paradigm changes in your valleys. So I know this has been true for you in your life. I won't be telling you anything new. It's true for me, and it's certainly been true for this school down here on the north side of San Antonio. In fact, when I came to Castle Hills in 2010, the school was in a very deep valley, really a crisis. Our existence was in question. A school far north of 1,000 students had diminished to 186. Someone at that time said, it's either close the doors or hire that little guy. And so we were broken. We were so broken, and we had so much to learn. But over those first 5 months, we went to school with God in our valley. He taught us 6 transformational lessons that led us through our valley and eventually out of our valley. He would continue to teach those things and still is today. I'd like to take those 6 lessons that we learned from the Lord, those 6 challenges that came to us to live out. And I actually believe these 6 priorities are actually transferable in almost anyone or any organization's situation, maybe even other schools that are under your care in crisis today. The results of these 6 lessons over the years have produced some amazing ramifications and fruit. Our enrollment has increased 350% over these short number of years. Today, our students are 90% academically scholarship to college or university, largely middle and lower middle income and some of the poorest kids of our city. 9 state championships and finishing 12 other times, 3rd in state or better in athletics, academics, and the art. In short, these lessons learned have worked where it matters most in the lives of the kids. So let's get started. Lesson number 1. The first thing we learn is learn to listen. God clearly impressed upon us from the very beginning that our journey needed to involve listening to learn. That's a novel idea, I know, listening in order to learn. But the listening that we did was comprehensive. We listened to everyone. We asked 3 questions to scores of people in meetings and gatherings in those early years when this turnaround began. The first was, what do you love most about this place? What do you treasure? What must we hold on and ensure that we never let go of? The second was, what do we need to improve and to make better? And the third was, what problems that exist here today can we solve? Well, that passion for asking those questions and the answers, the hundreds and hundreds of answers that they produced, eventually produced a massive school improvement plan that took us over 5 years to accomplish in transforming the school. But in the first year, we didn't apply any of those school improvement plans. We just simply worked on fixing the problems that were identified. And we earned a reputation for fixing problems fast. You know, we rebuilt lost trust is what I'm trying to get to. It was foundational to how the people followed us and the work that got accomplished. That trust had to be regained. So in short, we have a passion to listen. Lesson number 2, we cast a vision that included the students. It wasn't just for the students, but the vision centered on the young people themselves. We simply said, we're going to build the greatest school in South Texas, maybe the galaxy, for the glory of God. You know, we went face to face with the young people, and those kids got a hold of that. They believed it before anybody else did. And the results, even as we raised expectations and continued step by step incrementally to lift the standards that we had for them, we tied all of those changes and the elevation of what we were asking from the kids to that vision, and the students followed us. Lesson number 3, we put Jesus teetotally in the middle of everything. We took Jesus to the ultimate extreme in the way that we integrated the person, the third person of the Trinity, into the fabric of the school. We took our mission statement and tossed it. We took the buzzwords that had been ingrained in the minds. Everybody knew the mission here, but we simply set it aside and we made our mission one word: Jesus Christ. Now, we expressed it a little more eloquently. We said our mission is to lead students to know Christ and to make Christ known. To know Christ, 423 kids as of last week when a little boy got saved at the end of an elementary music class. 423 kids have given their lives personally through salvation on this campus over these past several years. And then to make Christ known, Eagle students have become almost Food Channel famous for leading others to Christ. 650 people over this short tenure of time have come to Christ through the gospel witness of Eagle boys and girls and teenagers as they share their gospel witness through outreach and school projects and outreach programs. The second thing, it not only affected our mission statement, it changed our admissions statement. You see, our admission statement is also Jesus. You know, there's a little song you sang as a kid. Jesus loves the little children, all the children of the world. Red and yellow, black and white, they are precious in His sight. Jesus loves the little children of the world. We opened our arms in the admissions process to love the children that God would send us. You know, we were a school in 2010 that was 80% Caucasian in a city that's 65% Hispanic. We felt like there was something that God wanted and needed to do. Today, we look like our city in terms of our demographic. Every color, every tribe, every culture, from kids from around the globe and all across this city. It means the world to us that we are now a largely lower middle income school, and 40 of the poorest kids, many of them from lower income subsidized housing, now walk our halls. There are very few kids or classes that don't have kids in them that don't need clothes along the way. I just can't tell you how placing Jesus that demonstratively, that in that focused way, that just, I know that's what we do as Christian educators, but it just became the daily heartbeat of the school. Lesson number 4, we made prayer the work. Oswald Chambers said, prayer does not produce the greater works of God. Prayer is the greater work. And we took that statement and we impressed it on the lives of our kids. And we just committed ourselves to creating prayer ministries and praying people to join us. Each year, I personally meet with hundreds of people to ask them to join our Eagle prayer support team. It has become the #1 priority in the superintendent's job description. You know, I today have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of adults who pray every day, 365 days a year for our school. We feed them lots of testimonies and information about how to pray for our campus. We also have 6 separate weekly prayer ministries that support the work of God here in the school. And so I just want to share with you that prayer is our culture. It is in the same way that Jesus is our mission, prayer is our culture. It's hard to get in and out of a meeting or to even make a phone call to this place without somebody praying the blessing of the Lord over your life. Number 5, we committed to put the right people at the front of the room. You know, I told you our school was broken and we were in need of leadership in the classroom. And so we raised expectations for teachers early on. We made some hard choices necessary to get from where we were to where we are today in our instructional faculty. And we cast a broad net to uncover and discover the teachers who are the gems. So we never stopped searching for teachers. We're actually in teacher recruitment mode 12 months a year. And for all the effort that we put into it, you know, God honors that. The truth is most of these incredible people, these living curriculum people, you know, Jesus said, when a student is fully taught, he will be like his teacher, Luke 6:40, you know, that passage. But the truth is I'm not qualified to carry the hat of most of the people that work for me. It's humbling, not just in terms of their experience and their degrees or advanced degrees, but just who they are as people. Nothing's mattered more than the recruitment and retention, support and love of a faculty like God has given us today. Number 6 and last, and I think possibly most importantly, we looked at Jesus and we said, what was Jesus? He was the ultimate all-time greatest servant leader of the world. Our mission is to lead students to know Christ and make Him known. Our vision is to develop tomorrow's servant leaders today. And I actually mean today, intentionally all across the campus today. That's taking place. You know, servant leadership, we exist for that purpose. And so we thought, how are we going, if that is our purpose, then we need to not wait and just build an add-on program in our high school where we teach some leadership skills or provide some service opportunities. We thought a little deeper, a little more forward than that. God put it in our heart. The lesson that we learned most and best in our valley was to take these kids when they're youngest and most moldable. 80% of a child's values are fully formed by the time they're 7 or 8 years old. So Castle Hills today, to our knowledge, is the only private Christian school in South Texas, maybe the galaxy, that intentionally develops servant leaders beginning in kindergarten. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but in kindergarten, we teach these 5 leadership attitudes that ultimately elevate the altitude of these young people. And so they go something like this. Number 1, the right king. The first attitude is a right relationship with ultimate authority, and that is with the God who created them, and how to pull yourself off the throne of your life and to install Jesus as king in His rightful place. The second, this little sign is the sign language for R, and we say respect. The powerful principle of honoring those who are in authority, starting with your mother. How you treat your mother is the single greatest indicator, we tell kids, of ultimate success success in life on an earthly level. You know, the third principle is real hard work. There's a W inside that number 3 for third principle. And work. We are working at our play in America and playing at our work. And so we teach kids this little mantra: I love work. Work comes before play, and work is fun. And you know, this idea that we don't start the day at 8 o'clock with recess, that would be crazy. Work comes before play. And so in the end, the idea that everybody on campus, number 4, responsibility, has a job. You know, it's my middle school kids pull weeds. I actually don't need middle school kids to pull weeds. I got landscaping guys to do that. But the truth is they need to pull weeds. Everybody on campus has a job. Moms and dads are encouraged for first graders to make their bed. It won't look as good, but when you don't carry responsibility, you don't develop a servant identity. And then 5th, real love. People don't care how much you know till they know how much you care. And these kids will never become the great leaders that God intended them. Today, our students in the United States Congress, in the state legislature, the little girl who argued the Hobby Lobby case before the Supreme Court a few years ago, Eagle alumni, college presidents, entrepreneurs, CEOs, people leading in almost every discipline, graduating 35, 45 students a year, 1,000 graduates, but the net weight of their life built on these basic principles. Now, those are the 5 lessons that we learned in the valley, and those are the lessons that got us through the valley. Our perspective changed, our priorities changed, our whole paradigm changed. God birthed the vision for us in the valley. So before I finish here today, I'd like to take one moment to give you a final challenge, because certainly you're going through valleys and you've learned your own lessons there. But I just wanted to encourage you that once you're through a valley, be prepared for the next one. Surely another is going to be around the corner. This happened to us. Early in 2016, January 1, we became an independent school on the same day that we potentially lost everything. We had no buildings. We had no place to go. We had no place to turn. We looked around and it looked to us like it might be a challenge like we'd experienced back in 2010, possibly have to close the doors. But then God spoke to us again. He came to us in this new valley in a way that just simply spoke gently but very firmly to our heart. What He told us was to double down on those 6 things that He had taught us in the first valley. That we weren't finished learning the depths of what He had taught us to date. There was more of each of those things and greater ways to apply them in our lives. Without a place to go and a place to turn, we went to our school family and we said, friends and family, if we have to pitch a tent in Castle Hills Park, we're going to have school. We were given until from January of 2016 to June of this year, literally 3 months from right now, to pay a $10.5 million amount to acquire our historic campus. In 2 years and 4 months to date, we have raised $7 million in a mostly low-income school family. And $2.5 million has been placed now as a matching gift on the table to help us finish the journey. You see, God has provided, but He focused us not on running after money, but coming back to the mission and the lessons that we learned in our valleys. So 1 month before our doomsday deadline this June, we will close on these properties. God is so good. To Him alone be the glory. Now, I've told you this story that I may hopefully encourage you in your own personal life, in your own journey, in your own valleys. But I also want to open ourselves here at the Christian School at Castle Hills in San Antonio, Texas, to make ourselves available to schools under your care who might be going through their own challenges. We feel like that we need to take our story and to assist those who are going through storms that they see no way out of, who have lost hope or found themselves in the place of the impossible. And so if you knew of a school like that, you feel free to give them our contact information. We are here to serve the greater Christian school movement from our humble station here. And we thank you for your leadership, the love, the support, and the sacrifice that you're giving to the greater cause of the work of God through Christian schools in the kingdom today. God bless you real good.